You know what's really scary when your knee cracks or pops? You're just worried, like, is pain gonna follow this, or
Yeah, is this my life now?
am I dead?
My knee popped. Am I dead? No, that's just your youth dying.
Welcome to Scary Mystery Surprise,
where we talk about scary things that surprised us around the internet.
I'm Edwin.
I'm Michelle. On our Instagram, in our DMs, we got a message from Ren, last name T, because I'm going to mute that because for privacy reasons. Ren recommended this story.
I think all Japan things to me are like...
I agree.
You know, when they go scary, they go scary.
They go real scary. It's like really different from Western, what we grow up with. And then you get over there and it's like, holy shit. And that's what we have today are some holy shit tales from Japan. Shitting your pants is guaranteed by the end of these. So warning.
We guarantee it.
We guarantee it here at Scary Mystery Surprise that you will shit your pants.
I'm ready. I got my diaper.
Edwin, you're walking along at night on a Japanese street. Maybe you're singing a little song. No tune. No tune. That became, this is Halloween. This is Halloween.
Oh, that's right. That's my default right there. That's where I go. That's what I go to.
That's what's playing in your head all the time.
I wake up in the morning. This is Halloween. This is Halloween.
So anyway, Edwin's singing This is Halloween. You know, there's a slight drizzle. And, you know, you're just taking in the sights and the shops of Tokyo. You're walking down the street. City sounds start to fade. And you kind of realize no one's around. But this is Japan. It should be fine. It's safe. You see a woman coming toward you in a trench coat and a surgical mask. And this is part of everyday custom there. I mean, we just went through COVID. We know what it's like. Everybody wears masks. Unlike here, we just like to sneeze in each other's mouths here. That is the American way.
You know, after COVID, I started noticing all the things that are nasty that we do just naturally.
Oh, yeah.
Like people that, do this, touching their nose, and then they shake your hand. It's so common, and I see it every time.
You know how you have to blow out candles on a birthday cake?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not exactly the most cleanly thing you could do.
Double dipping your fries.
Sticking your hand in like the peanut jar at like work.
Yes.
Which I've done, and then realized it was a faux pas afterwards.
You just put your hand in, you're just picking the peanut you want. You're like...
And then I was just watching my coworkers stare at me like insanely. They were just like... And then I knew I'd made a mistake. And then I learned. And then I learned to use a napkin.
Then you wonder how many people have put their hand in there. Yeah, anyway. Oh, yeah. So many things you notice, yet I still do them. And yet I'm trying to come back to normal to them. It's okay to spit on your hand and shake hands.
I don't know how normal that is. What are we in the 1930s Little Rascal cartoons?
I mean, not normal, but I'm trying to be like, on that level where it's just like, okay, a doorknob, I'm about to touch a doorknob. I'm about to touch a handle that everybody's touched. We could learn a thing or two from Japanese people, you know.
Agreed. And like, there's nothing unusual about this woman. She's walking towards you and she has her mask on. And you're just, doing your thing, singing your little song down the... I mean, you seem like the weirdo here.
This is Halloween. This is Halloween.
Then you hear, am I beautiful? And you're like, excuse me. You don't think you heard right. It's just you and her on the street. But then, again, am I beautiful? Or maybe more like, am I beautiful? And you answer, because you're confused, sure? Maybe this will get that weird woman away from you? Slowly, she takes off her mask, revealing that her mouth has been slit open from ear to ear. Blood dripping from her elongated mouth. Am I beautiful? And you're like, yes, you scream. Just like, oh God, oh God, oh God.
Yes.
And she pulls out a pair of scissors and slices your mouth from ear to ear to match her scars. You lay on the street, bleeding to death, because the wounds caused by Kichisake Onna can never be healed.
That is creepy. That is a very creepy thing.
You've come into contact with Kuchisake Onna, the slit-mouthed woman. Yep. Also, this is also called like a Glasgow smile, which I thought was really bizarre that's called a Glasgow smile.
Why? Why is that? Why?
I guess if you go to Scotland to go to Glasgow, they'll just cut your face, so it's a Glasgow smile. That's just what it's called on the internet. Like, you know.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah. So it's the cut between the mouth all the way up to her ear.
No stitches, nothing. It's just like, skin, just like,
Open. Yeah. Can you imagine you take the mask off and it's like Joker, like, it's like, for anyone who didn't picture that, imagine the Joker with the big, but open, not healed scars from, the corners of your mouth going all the way up to your ears.
Is she beautiful, though?
Well, I guess we'll find out. Because she was beautiful at one time. About 1,000 years ago, she was a beautiful woman, the most beautiful woman in her village. And she married a powerful samurai. And he went off to war, and while he was gone, and he was gone for a long time, she got lonely. And because she was the most beautiful woman in the village, she had a lot of admirers. And she'd walk through town and ask people, am I beautiful? Am I beautiful? How many times can you say, yeah, sure. Sure, why not?
So she's insecure?
I'd go full of herself on this.
Oh, like vain.
She's very vain. And so as she grew lonely, she started to have affairs with men around town. And when the samurai heard of this, he was outraged. And as a punishment for her infidelity, her husband made her bite down on his samurai sword, slicing the corners of her mouth from ear to ear.
Okay, that's messed up.
Of course it's messed up.
You just have to move on, man.
Yeah,
like,
you don't need to cut anybody's mouth open. Like,
it's not worth it, King.
No.
Move on.
It's not worth it.
Do your thing.
Dude, women have not had it easy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's terrible. I mean, I think the cool part is probably just the fashion, right? Like people, like women, they say they miss the fashion of the olden days, but I think like you wouldn't want to be living back then.
No, thank you. But obviously it's a cautionary tale, right? Like, a lot of these weird stories are always cautionary tale to keep, like stay faithful, blah, 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 This was a tale in the Endo period. So yeah, like about 1,000 years ago. And then around the end of...
Look at you, Endo period.
I know, I looked it up. I was just like... around the end of 1978, we're in more recent times now, a rumor circulated that an old woman in a farming family, I'll just skip the town because I can't pronounce it, spotted a woman with a notorious slit in her mouth standing in the corner of the garden. The local newspaper printed an article about the story, and the legend spread and grew through repetition among the children in the area. Because of course you're scared shitless. Of course you are.
This is so creepy. Like, this is intense.
It's intense. I mean, that's scary shit. Like, that is... I don't know. Like,
I mean, here we have, Slender Man, like, the rake, Siren Head. It's like,
Yeah. They have like a version of a Slender Man. I just didn't do it in this episode, but they have like, it's called like the 8-foot tall woman or something like that.
Why is it a woman? Why is that
I
creepier?
don't know, man.
Michelle, why don't...
Yoki.
Is it illegal?
They come back as Yoki, which is like an evil spirit. Which is what Pokemon is based on, weirdly enough.
Oh.
It's the Yoki. It's all the weird Yoki ghosts.
That's why Christians... one time I got a lecture from Christians
about
at,
Pokemon?
Like, college. Yeah.
Oh, it's so funny.
They were like, they come from evil stuff and spirits.
They
and
do
I'm
come
like,
from... They're inspired by that, but...
Wow.
But yeah, so they're all part of the Yoki. How did I say it? Yokai. So there were all these different variations, of course, because, kids are talking at this point, and we're in the 70s, so,
They're actually talking and not on their phones.
The schoolyard gossip is going crazy. Like they might say that she wore a mask or a red coat, that she carried a sickle. They'd say that she could run 100 meters in 6 seconds, that she hated...
Wow.
that she hated hair pomade.
So specific. Even more specific.
Or if you gave her hard candy, that's like a caramel hard candy, then you could get away. So if you threw candy at her, she'd let you get away.
I don't know. So you always carry candy with you, just in case.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, duh. So 6 months later, the rumor had spread nationwide, and
what?
Yeah. So
okay, so it went viral.
It went viral in
1970s.
1978, and it was in the newspapers. And people kind of traced this back to like a number of children were going to this thing called cram schools at the time, which is like you go to another school after school and you study more, and it's at night. So a lot of kids from different jurisdictions were coming together and like spreading this rumor through cram school, and they were taking it back to their neighborhoods and stuff. But also, because cram school got out at night, people kind of figured that kids were getting anxieties about passing people on the street that they wouldn't normally pass, like a girl going to a club or like a drunk. So it's like groups of kids coming home in the middle of the night, pretty much. And so they're seeing all these weird street characters.
The normal night people.
Just normal night people who are just doing stuff, out for their entertainment jobs, out for a night out. But it's helping, kids are anxious, so they're helping spread these rumors. So anyway, teachers and parents were so worried that they started conducting patrols and arranging for children to return home in groups. But by 1979, the rumors had died down, and everything had pretty much gone back to normal, except the fact that people were now terrified of a slit-mouthed woman. Just the idea of it lingering in the shadows had like come back into everybody's consciousness. So, by what we've learned, how to save Edwin's life.
Candy. Wait, no.
Well, there's candy, but I mean, odds are you don't have any candy since you're just wandering around singing a song in Japan.
This is Halloween.
This is Halloween. So.
That's not how it goes, Michelle.
So if you come face to face with Kuchisake Onna, here's what you do. If she asks you, "Am I beautiful?" Well, and you say no, she'll just follow you home and stab you to death.
What? Okay, that's intense.
Yeah, it's not going to work. Also, if you say yes and then answer no when she reveals herself with the mask, she'll stab you to death. So the trick is to say, there's a few little trick phrases to say. Number 1, "I don't have time." And then she'll apologize for bothering you.
That's normal. That's an American response right there.
Yeah, it's like, "I don't have time. I don't have time." And she'll apologize for bothering you.
What?
Which I love that the spirit is still so polite for some reason. So polite.
Oh, sorry about that.
sorry, you're right. You're right. I shouldn't be bothering you. You're right. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have bothered. How dare I ask if you think I'm beautiful? I'm sorry. You're right. And then B, which is the easiest probably answer, and you could use this whenever anybody really asks if they're beautiful or not. You just say, average.
You insult. Insult her.
But it confuses her because she only kind of registers yes or no. So if you say average, so, this confuses her and you can run away. Also, you can distract her by throwing money at her or throwing hard candy at her. Because she'll stop and pick it up. And then, of course, by saying pomade 3 times.
Pomade?
Pomade, yeah. Like the hair product pomade.
This is so... You need like a little manual to know what to do in these cases.
Oh, it only gets weirder. After the break, it only gets weirder.
So I'm like on the ground. My mouth is like...
You're slit, and you're probably bleeding to death. But that was just a dream.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
But you're back on the streets. You're back walking the streets of Japan again. It's gloomy out. It's a light rain again. It doesn't really matter because you're still enjoying the sights and the sounds. And you get to the train platform, and it's quiet. And you think Edwin would have learned his lesson by now, but no.
To not hum or sing?
Or not just be in lone places, not walk around at night. I don't know. I don't know what lesson you should have learned is not to walk around at night, I guess. So anyway, you're standing on the platform, and it's nighttime. And then you hear it. Ticka, 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 ticka. And you look around.
I think I would be more like, what is that?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah. And then it goes, ticka, 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 ticka.
Why is that giving me chills, Michelle? Why?
Oh, it's not good. You see something crawling towards you on the platform.
Crawling?
A girl. Missing her bottom half. Dripping blood from where her legs and her hips should be.
Shut up, Michelle. This is creepy as heck.
I told you were going to shit your pants in this episode.
It's coming out. Turtle head.
Seeping. Oh no.
That is so creepy. Okay.
All right. Okay. So, a girl.
Seeping is so descriptive. Like it's so visual, like so oratorial, nosatorial.
Oh, so much seepage. There's a lot of seepage happening.
No, okay. That's so nasty. I mean, so scary, so creepy and nasty. Imagining that. This is a mixed. I feel really weird right now. Okay.
I mean, Japanese ghosts, man. There's something. They're on another level. Something's crawling towards you on the platform. A girl, missing her bottom half, blood dripping from where her legs and hips should be, is the noise she's making with her long razor-like fingernails as she scratches her way towards you, leaving a trail of blood. Edwin's having a great time in Japan.
Oh no.
You have run into Teke Teke. That is what this ghost is called.
Because of the sounds that she makes?
Rumor has it she was a very introverted young girl who was a victim of a bullying prank gone wrong. Waiting for the train one day, some bullies decided to play a prank on her and put a bug on her shoulder. Trying to shake it off, she fell on the tracks and was cut in half by a train. As an angry, vengeful spirit, she crawls around ready to cut anyone she meets in half with her long nails or a scythe. Lots of scythes. Lots of scythes in Japan.
I mean, why would she be carrying that? That is so...
Some drawings show her like using her nails to crawl, which makes sense. You know, like they're long. She's using them to walk. But then when she has a scythe, she's kind of standing up, and it looks like she's kind of just hopping on her spinal cord.
I think that would be really hard to swing without legs, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
She would just scythe and just spin around like
I mean, you're just hopping on your spinal cord, like with blood dripping out of you, and your like little intestines like dragging a little bit, and then you're like trying. It would be hard. There's getting the momentum right.
Yeah, you would just end up spinning indefinite, like forever, like a little, one of those things. What are they called? That you spin them like this and they just go a top. It would, it's just like, which makes her even more dangerous.
With just maybe that's her power. So she spins like a top with the scythe or her nails, and then she can just like tornado at you.
Oh no, like Taz, like the
just like the Tasmanian Devil. Yeah, she makes everyone the same height. That's just her deal, That's just her deal.
Oh, that is so creepy, man. Like,
I mean, it gets weirder. There's another version of the tale that's just as weird. There's another version of Teke Teke, Kashima Reiko. It's very similar to Teke Teke and is kind of like a version of Teke Teke because it's also like a ghost at the train station. I think Teke Teke can technically wander, but Kashima Reiko stays at the train station. So Kashima Reiko was a young woman who was brutally attacked in a bathroom by a group of men in a bathroom stall at a train station. She was left for dead and tried to crawl and get help, but she crawled onto the train tracks and was cut in half by a train.
That's a terrible death.
It's a terrible death. But now she haunts bathroom stalls at train stations, especially on the darkest nights of the year. She knocks on doors and asks the occupant, "Where are my legs? Where are my legs?" The victim has to answer on the Mishin Expressway, which is the train. And then she will ask, "Who told you?" And you have to say, "Kashima Reiko told me." But then she will say, "What is my name?" Do not say Kashima Reiko. Tell her, "Masked Death Demon." And like, it's such a really specific thing.
It's like a script you have to follow.
Yeah, you have to like follow it exactly. But some other stories say she asks, "Who told you?" And you have to say, "Masked Death Demon." So remember Masked Death Demon, because if you don't, she'll crawl under the stall and take your legs for herself.
Oh, no. What? I imagine like a Japanese woman is usually smaller. Imagine her just like chopping off my legs.
Yeah.
Just walking around.
That's what you get for taking a shit in the stall at night.
Do Japanese stalls have that gap, that awkward gap under it?
I don't know. I'm just assuming they have the gap, but it could just be a door. I changed it to the gap because I thought that was scarier to have the woman crawl under it, but it does say that she just opens the door and comes in and rips your legs off.
It's when you're most vulnerable in the toilet. I always think like even if somebody wants to steal your wallet, doing it at a urinal would be like so easy because I don't think anybody would just stop the stream to go. Yeah.
It would be hard. It would be really hard.
So vulnerable there. But to cut off your legs and then you die. You bleed to death in a toilet. The worst.
And then you die.
Worst way to die.
Yep, you'd bleed to death just like her. I don't know. There's one other tale about, but this feels like Teke Teke because it's a school. It happens at a school, but
just the creepiest places, Michelle. What is up with this?
I know. I don't know, but this is definitely Teke Teke. But there was a guy who had stayed late at school, and probably one of those cram schools. So he was leaving and he forgot his keys, but he looked up at the window and he saw a beautiful Japanese girl looking down at him. And he was like, "Oh, who's that?" And then as he's looking at her, she jumped out of the window at him with a scythe and cut him in half. And then the next day, they only found his legs. They didn't find the upper half. So a part of me is like, did they run off together? That's like kind of romantic.
They just kind of jump towards the sunset.
They Teke away. They Teke away. which I think is kind of romantic in a way. You know, she got her other half. She got a other half.
If this was a cautionary tale, what would that be? Don't look at pretty girls out the window.
Yeah, don't work too hard. Maybe like you stayed
there
too
you
late
go.
at school, or don't be forgetful. Like always remember your key. Like it could be something asinine like that. But yeah, don't go to school.
Yeah, drop out.
Definitely drop out. There's only teke-tekes at school, so
don't forget your legs.
Don't forget your legs, and remember that script when you're trying to take a shit in Japan. Like, oh my god. Can you imagine? I mean, honestly, even just to fuck with someone, to be like, where are my legs? Like, could you, oh my god. Especially because this is so, like, in the zeitgeist of
Imagine
Japan.
that, though. Someone asks you, where are my legs? What would you say to that?
Just be like, fuck you, man. Totally. Just fuck.
Here in LA, that makes sense. Here in LA, you can tell that to anybody, and they'll be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm in here. Like, I'm obviously in here.
Busy.
I'll be out in a minute.
Then you have to wait for them to leave so you can finally drop it, because then it's awkward if they hear you.
Yep. It's just, it's a real complicated dynamic. And to add like a ghost that'll steal your legs to people with already phobias of like public toilets.
Yep. Just makes things worse. That's why I think Japanese people, I think they also have these really cool techie toilets, right? That make noise and they sing for you.
That makes it so pleasant. Like the sweet little robot will save you. Maybe the toilets are rigged to save you from teke-teke.
Right? Maybe, it'll give you the script. Let me see this.
There's a button. It's like, oh, teke-teke's here.
The teke-teke button.
Yeah, it's like the emergency button, and then it's like, here's the script you have to read. Here's some hard candies in case you run into Kuchisake Ono. You know, here's some hard candies in case you run into Kuchisake Ono. Ona. But yeah, that's all I got. I loved this one. Thank you, Ren T.
Thank you, Ren.
Yeah, it was a great suggestion.
This is so creepy. This is super creepy.
I mean, this is like the tip of the iceberg with Japanese tales. These are like two simple female ghost stories from Japan.
It's interesting. Like how, because also the teke-teke technically isn't copyrighted, right? Like they can make movies out of it. They can make all these characters out of it. And so like, it's like La Llorona kind of.
It is. There was a lot of comparisons to La Llorona, like as this being like their Japanese La Llorona or a version of it.
And then there's sad stories. Even the slit-mouthed woman. It's a sad story. Like, even though she cheated,
but she doesn't deserve to have her no one deserves to have her mouth cut like that for cheating. That's crazy. That's a crazy escalation. It just doesn't work. You just divorce somebody. Just leave them.
Yeah, even probably the samurai guy cheated too. I mean, war, anything goes.
That was the other version of that tale, is that he had heard rumors of this woman who would sleep with whoever. They used the term courting. Who would court whoever the strongest. She'd take on whoever the strongest suitor was, basically, anyone who impressed her. And then he was going to go visit the house, and then he got drunk and realized it was his house. And then he showed up, and it was his wife in bed with someone else. And so he was like, oh, so he was going to go cheat, and then he, got...
If you want pina colada...
It's true. That's true. Do you think that couple was happy together after they found out they were cheating on each other?
I don't know. I think it would be just so awkward.
To be like, like, I guess we'll just stay together now, even though we both tried to cheat on each other.
Just tell her she's beautiful. Wait,
No.
she'll stab you if you tell
Yeah,
her
you got to
she's
say
beautiful?
so-so or average. That's the only way you
dang
get
it.
away. So if anyone ever asks if they're beautiful or am I pretty, you have to say average.
And then she takes off her mask, and then you're like, oh, no, you're not.
You know, you have to still be like average, and then you could go because she won't know what to do. And she's like, average? What does that mean?
She's just like, turns around,
Hard candy.
glitches out.
Now I've made all these jokes and cursed us if we ever go to Japan. But if any fans want to send us to Japan, we'd gladly go.
Yes.
So be sure to rate and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so we can go to Japan someday.
Yes, please subscribe and leave us a comment.
We'd gladly go to Japan for any podcast stuff. Just putting it out there in the world. I know some people are out there. That's all.
The universe is listening.
The universe is listening, and we'd gladly answer. What are we going to talk about next week, Edwin?
I don't know. I think it'll be a surprise.
Hot dog. Bye, guys.
Bye.